MTN SME Hub. Link to growth. Link to success. Link to the ultimate resource for business advice and insights.
Welcome back to the Big Small Business Show. In studio with us today, we've got Phillip and Marissa from Vitozol. And the issue right now is how do they increase sales? They're in a predicament, which is that the fact that they can't talk about what the product does on social media. And social media, as you know, is a big part of how we sell today. So the first thing I'd like to say is when I asked you the question around the humans and the pets, I think if you were to ask my advice, I would say choose between the two, and I would choose the pets. Okay.
Definitely.
And so because you're going to confuse. When I came on there, I thought, okay, what is this now? I got a little confused as to what this was for. So my view is to kill the human part of the product and focus specifically on pets, because then you'll be known for something.
Yes.
Right. So if you're going to be known for the oil, then fine, there's different markets. But if you're going to be known for something, then in a market, it becomes very expensive to try and build two markets as a small business. It's like you choose.
All over.
Later, when you're huge, you can maybe split out a range. But right now, I think just given the resource constraint, just focus on where you're doing better right now. Then the second thing for me, from a strategy point of view, is around differentiation. I asked you what differentiates you, and quite frankly, there's little that differentiates you. If I look at the packaging of your competitors, they seem more premium. It seems different, and the difference here is they're talking about actually what the product is solving. Okay, because there's a wonderful saying that you're either selling vitamins metaphorically or you're selling painkillers. So vitamins are generally preventative stuff, and painkillers are when I've got a problem, I want to solve a problem, right? Okay. So, and painkillers metaphorically sell better than vitamins, which are preventative. So if I come here and I'm looking for something, my dog's got a problem, and all that I see is CBD.
No.
Right. You're not, from a visual perspective, you're not showing this is where I'm going to solve my problem. Okay. No. That's sitting on the top somewhere for skin allergies, inflammation, hotspots, etc. It's sitting on the top. But from a front perspective, it's not. So therefore, it comes back to your education piece, which is I have to educate you that CBD solves this problem. But if you say it solves the problem, then you don't have to educate, because the box says it does. And that's probably why your competition has put the problem they are solving on the box first. Because that's when I'm at that pet store, little Snooky or whatever, Fluffy, has got a certain problem. That's the problem. There's the solution.
No.
Okay. And I can see that. So I would definitely look at your packaging and relook at the packaging to announce the differentiation. I'd also look for, in the way that you formulate, to ask that question there around what makes you different from your competitors. It cannot be probably nothing. It has to be something. So that needs to be the strategic work about it. It cannot be just the dosage, because the dosage is I can copy you. It's not a hard thing for me to go to 600 or whatever, the same amount as you. That's not hard to do. Okay. So there has to be a formulation difference, or there needs to be a difference. And one of those differences has to be also brand. You have to build up brand. So to me, the whole brand building right now is the most critical part. That Vitozol, and I would not emphasize the Zol part of Vitozol. Okay. So and lucky it doesn't sound like, when you say it like that, it sounds like Vitozol, not Zol. So Vitozol. That becomes the brand that you're starting to pump out. So I would not be, if you can get through Meta by just pumping out Vitozol, helps with inflammation. That's all. Pet inflammation or skin allergies or whatever the other problems it solves. Right. If that becomes there's connection between Vitozol and the problem it solves, then that becomes the brand building that you're doing. Oh, and then when I remember little Fluffy's got an issue, Vitozol.
Yeah.
It's not about CBD.
Yeah.
CBD is the how.
Okay.
And how you're doing it. Okay, and then people can say, well, it's got this and these are the benefits and all those other things.
Okay.
But because you're in that market, you are competing against other people with CBD.
Right.
So there's no difference. So there's two things with CBD. Which one am I going to look? The one that says that this has got inflammation, that's the one I want.
Yeah.
Because it's solving the problem. You selling CBD. I mean, it's quite apparent there you're selling CBD,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Which is and I like. I mean, your packaging is clean and it's great. I just think that this needs to be allergy, dog allergy, cat allergy, inflammation. I don't know what hotspots are, but I don't know what this solves. Anxiety. There's then anxiety, and then you start looking at the formulation that this concentration is better for anxiety than that concentration.
Okay.
And so you start to change the formulation in terms of which solves what problem.
Okay.
But to me, in a product that is very hard to differentiate, then brand is your only answer. Okay. And to me, that's where I'd go. Then the last piece now is the sales force. Now here, so I like the fact that you went out and knocked on doors. I think it talks to the entrepreneurial spirit, and it talks to also the fact that every time you went there, you heard the resistance. You understand the pain of doing it. So when you've got your one rep on the road, you've got a high deal of empathy, but you also know that if they tell you fibs about what they can and can't do in a day, you can say, buddy, I did that. I went to 20 stores in a day, and you're doing 2 stores in a day.
Yeah.
That's not right. But to me, it's then about building out that sales force. Okay, once you've got your first person, then to build out your second person and your third person. To me, if the vets is, I don't know what the volumes are, the difference between, it wasn't a question I asked, I should have, between pets and pet stores and vets. But if your higher volume is going to the vets, then that's your focal point. You need to push there. You've got a great sense of marketing in terms of point of sale and everything. So I don't think you need help there. It's just build out the sales force, build out the brand, build out the differentiator, and build out what problem are we solving. That's on the actual packaging. Yeah. So I hope that's given you some things to think about.
Definitely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Well, I hope that's given you some things to think about. That was Phillip van Achterbergh and Marissa van Merwe from Vitozol. And always, as always, do remember, if you think it, write it down and make it a reality.
The Big Small Business Show, proudly sponsored by MTN Business.